Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Evan and the Detroit Pistons have had a wave of news recently, so I'm bringing you this video to go over all the trade rumors and roster moves. With all that said, let's begin. Starting out the day with Hamidou Diallo, returning on a 2-year deal. Diallo is an explosive athlete and showed flashes he can be a solid player off the bench. If Diallo can knock down open shots, he will see more time on the court. We have a log jam at the shooting guard and small forward positions, so it will be interesting to see where he gets minutes. With Diallo being brought back, the Pistons now have too many guaranteed contracts on the roster. They will have to cut or trade a player before the season begins. There's only 3 players who can go at this point, those being Okafor, Doumbouya, and Josh Jackson. Jahlil Okafor is number 1 on this list and most likely to go. Our center situation was a concern before Summer League, but after Garza did his thing, Okafor is expendable. Okafor is an old school post-up center who can get buckets, but outside of that he's limited, can't shoot mid-range or threes, and isn't gifted in the pick and roll. And of course there's his lack of defense. Just overall, out of the 3 players that will be discussed, Okafor is the weakest link. If Ja is cut, the Pistons centers will be Stu, Olynyk, and Garza. Next we have Sekou Doumbouya, who I feel isn't worth trading right now. His value at this point is a late 2nd round pick. Sekou showed he can defend in Summer League, but his offense still hasn't shown any improvements. I feel like the Pistons can get a 1st round pick for Sekou, so it would be better if they just waited till the mid-season. Last is Josh Jackson, who I would personally hate to see leave. Our team needs edge and toughness. It just can't be Stu going to war out there. Not only that, JJ played well last season and had his best season in the league with the Pistons. So all in all, I think we will see Okafor waived very soon here, as Josh is needed and Sekou isn't worth anything at the moment. In other roster news, Balša Korpovića will be playing in Serbia this season. I originally thought he would play in the G League, but clearly that's not the plan. Korpovića will work on his game overseas, and if he improves, the Pistons own his draft rights. That way if he does better over there, they can just plug him back into the roster when he comes back. The Detroit Pistons schedule was released this past Friday. The team opens at home versus Chicago. That game will be wild as it's Cade's first official NBA game, and it's versus the Bulls' new Big 3. The schedule isn't very kind after that, as we face for sure playoff teams Philly, Brooklyn, Atlanta, and the defending champs all in an 8-game stretch. So we will know very early if the Pistons playoff hopes are for real. Later on, Cade faces each of his fellow draft mates in a 3-game stretch. First in Houston, where he faces off with Jalen Green. That rivalry has been built up mostly by Green, as he seems obsessed with not going first. That game will air on ESPN. Next are a back-to-back with Cleveland and Toronto, as Cade will face off against Evan Mobley and Scotty Barnes. Some more interesting games. Golden State comes to town in November, then 2 days later, so do the Lakers. Last day of November, the Pistons travel to Portland. Chauncey is the new coach of the Trailblazers, which will make that game exciting. The NBA as a whole has got so much better. Not many easy games this year, but last year the Pistons played well while playing with half of their roster, so we should be just fine. One thing I trust about Dwayne Casey is that he will have the team focused for all 82 games. Last thing concerning the schedule is the number of national broadcast games that we got. After Zion and the Pelicans got a ton of games, I thought for sure they would do the same for Cade. Boy was I wrong. The Pistons got 5 national TV games, 4 of those on NBA TV, and 1 single game on ESPN. Not even 1 game on TNT. The disrespect is still at an all-time high. Hope this motivates the Pistons to make the playoffs so that these networks have no choice but to air our games. Puma has been gaining momentum over the years with the NBA. Now they just signed Killian Hayes to an endorsement deal. This was cool to see for Killian getting his own signature shoe, and on top of that, he will be one of the faces leading Puma's France campaign. While we are on the topic of shoes, Grant signed with Adidas and Cade signed with Nike. Good to see the Pistons getting respect in some areas. Final thing I wanted to talk about are the teal jerseys returning. They have been in high demand, and that demand was even louder after we got Cade. This offseason, we've seen so many of the Pistons organization rocking the teal. Cade had a custom shirt with teal buildings in the background. The Pistons coaching staff was seen with teal shirts on at Summer League. Sadiq Bey had a teal jersey on at a recent event. And lastly, the Pistons creative director Big Sean was recently flexing in teal shorts. Now Big Sean took to Twitter to address this teal wave. And he has said this before, for some reason Nike locks in jersey plans every 2 years, so Sean can't get them released until next year. Now that Cade is with Nike and the fans along with the organization back in the Teals, we could see them return next year. And that wraps up this video. The Pistons are staying in the spotlight even in the off season for all the right reasons. Let me know in the comments below who the Pistons should cut and how you feel about the Teal jerseys possibly returning. Speaking of returning, consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos just like this one. That's it for me, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.